Hi, welcome to a new video. In this multi-part video I'm going to help you learn about the Linux command line. This is a powerful tool that seems a little bit intimidating at first, but in this video I will cover how to get started with the Linux command line and some of the essential commands used every day to get tasks completed. I'm going to demonstrate navigating around the system and some basic file operations, such as showing the contents of directories, copying and renaming files, and deleting files and directories. The commands shown in this video are done on an Ubuntu Linux desktop, but they should work the same on most Linux desktops as well. So if the Linux command line has always interested you, but you didn't know where to start, then this video is definitely for you and will hopefully be useful. While this video won't cover everything, I hope it will give you a good base to get started. So let's get going. The first thing that we need to do is we need to access our Linux command line. Now we're going to do this by starting the terminal application. So we click there and select Terminal. Now there are different applications that can be used to access the Linux terminal, and the terminal application that came with your Linux installer isn't the only one. Other terminals can have more advanced features and can be really useful, but for this video we're going to stick with the built-in terminal application. So when you start the terminal you'll be greeted with this text. We call it the prompt. So we can type commands directly here at the prompt and we can get results in the same window. One of the most important things to bear in mind when working with Linux command line is that the case of letters matters. So that means watch out for uppercase and lowercase. So the majority of commands are all lowercase letters, but when it comes to files and folders these can be very different, so just be mindful for watching for the upper and lowercase letters. So on to the first command. Let's start with our first command. Now when you start the terminal you'll be at the prompt, but you will also be in a folder on your system. You can think of it in the same way as when you open your file manager. You start in a directory like this. So open the file manager and we're in our home folder. But where's our terminal opened? So let's check. So let's go back to our terminal and check where we are. So we use our first command, which is pwd. This command stands for print working directory, or in other words show us where we are. So we're going to run that now. So we're going to type pwd all lowercase and enter. And as you can see, our terminal is also in our home folder. We call this the current path. So that's our first command done. Now we know where we are, how do we know what files and folders are here? So for that we will use the command ls. This is the list command and allows us to list the contents of the current folder. So if we type ls and press enter, what we can see is the contents of the folder matches what we see in the file manager, which is pretty good. This is really useful but can be better. So let's introduce now the idea of command line options, sometimes called command line switches. Command line options can be used to change the way a command works or shows information. So let's now run the ls command with a command line option. So the way we specify an option for the ls command is using a minus symbol like this. ls space minus l all lowercase and press enter. So this time we see lots more information. We can see the size and date of files. This is similar to the detail or list view in our file manager like this. So you may not call this symbol here a minus, you might call it a dash or even a tack, but for me I call it a minus. So we can also specify multiple options for this command. For instance, we can change the way the size is listed to be more human readable. So let's type ls space minus l space minus h all lowercase and press enter. So what you can see here is a similar output, but this time the file sizes are more human friendly. So these are just a couple of examples showing you how commands can have extra options to improve their functionality. On to our final command that we're going to cover in part 1 of this video series. So as we already know, from the pwd command we are in our home folder. But what if we need to move to a different folder? So that's the job of the cd command. Cd allows us to change directory. So let's have a look at a couple of examples. So firstly, we're going to change directory to our documents folder. So type cd space documents and press enter. So remember to watch for the capital D when typing the word documents. So not much appears to have changed. You can see a slight change at the prompt, but let's type the pwd command and see where we are. pwd and press enter. Now you can see we're in the documents folder as expected. So now we can use the ls command to see what's in here. So let's type ls space -l space -h, all lowercase, and press enter. And we see our documents. So if we look in our file manager in our documents folder, we can see it's the same, which is pretty good. So what if we want to go to a specific folder? Well, we can do that with the cd command also. So this time what we're going to do is type cd space /var /log, all lowercase again, and press enter. Now this will take us to our logs folder. So if we type pwd and press enter, we can confirm we are now in our logs folder. So now we can type ls space -l space -h and press enter, and we can show all the files in here. So that concludes part 1 of this multi-part video. So we've learned the command pwd, print working directory, ls, list directory contents, and cd to change our current directory. In the next part, we're going to learn to do some basic file operations, such as copy a file, rename a file, and remove a file. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you've found this video useful. I hope to see you again on the next part of this video series. Please do consider subscribing if you can. I'd really appreciate it. Or perhaps pop a comment down below, and I'll see you soon.